on the Struggle Isolation Edition. Partying in a pandemic. A mining company blows up history. And airlines in need of a lifeline. It's been a long time between drinks for Victorians who have been in stage 4 lockdown for almost a month. But it appears as though one group of university students weren't paying attention in class when their teacher explained the meaning of no social gathering. A video posted on Snapchat allegedly showed a group of La Trobe University students partying on campus despite the stage 4 restrictions. Those in the video don't appear to be wearing masks, and I think it's fair to say they weren't keeping 1.5 meters from one another. Premier Daniel Andrews summed it up pretty well by saying,
"It's just not smart."
I mean, come on guys, we all want to blow our steam, we all want to meet our friends, but now is just not the time. The message is clear.
Stay home. I mean, everybody.
Let's cross to our millennial correspondent for her advice on safe social distance partying in a pandemic.
Welcome back to I'm a Millennial, get me out of here. Now Fergie once said a little party never killed nobody, but she clearly had never partied during a global pandemic. It's socially irresponsible and inappropriate for any social gathering nowadays, especially during these unprecedented times. That's why I'm advocating for you to drink at home alone. It's the only socially responsible thing to do. Now, during this pandemic, I've learned that you've got to make the best of what you've been given. And what you've been given is so many press conferences. But I've devised a special way to spice up your daily dose of Dan Andrews and scratch that party itch. So, grab your finest bottle of $5 vino and let's play Press the Party. If Dan Andrews walks out in a North Face jacket, take a leisurely sip. He's feeling casual today, folks. But if he walks out in a suit, finish your drink, things are about to get serious. Okay, daily numbers time. If numbers go down, finish that drink, honey. Yes, celebrate. God is good, and so is Victoria. We are going to get through this. But if numbers are going up, finish that drink. You might need a coping mechanism. If the hot Auslan interpreter gives Victoria the collective a middle finger, take a shot. If Brett's son and the hot Auslan interpreter appear in the same press conference, drink that drink because we are getting thirsty. Let's be real, nothing interesting happens in the middle of these things. Let's check Twitter and see what Victorians are saying there. If you come across any anti-maskers or anti-vaxxers, take a shot. If a keyboard warrior tries to attack Dan Andrews, take a shot. If you see the words pandemic, take a shot. Right, back to the press conference. Looks like Dan Andrews is signing off for today. Raise your glass to our Premier. And when he says, "See you tomorrow," finish that drink. Back to you, Tableen.
Cheers, Emily. Moving on, and Donald Trump is in the news again. This week for controversial comments in which he suggested that he may ignore the 8-year limit on presidential terms.
Now, if you want to really drive him crazy, you say 12 more years.
After claiming that Barack Obama founded ISIS, bragging about sexual assault, and being tried for impeachment for colluding with Russia, the thought of 12 more years of Donald Trump proves once and for all that sequels are always worse than the original. With elections just over 2 months away, the Trump campaign has released a policy agenda for a potential second term, which includes funding for the police and teaching American exceptionalism. While critics are saying that this is Trump's latest attempt to ramp up racism, It seems unlikely given his history with ramps. In related news, TikTok has announced it will sue the Trump administration for its attempts to ban it in the US. For more on this puzzling situation, we cross now to our truth seeker, Alex James.
Thanks, Tavleen. So, TikTok is suing the Trump administration, which is trying to ban TikTok from America over fears of data harvesting, which could lead to massive election corruption and a fundamental invasion of people's privacy. It's this kind of a shit show that made me want to become an investigative journalist. Now, a lot of people use TikTok to make fun of President Trump.
We're looking at TikTok. We may be banning TikTok. We may be doing some other things. There are a couple of options.
And some people are saying that Trump just wants to ban TikTok because he's a little baby bitch boy who can't take a joke. But that's just not the case. No, there's something much deeper at play here, and everyone's just too blind to see it. Everything that's going on can be traced back to one little group. I'm talking, of course, about my good friends over at QAnon. If you're not familiar with QAnon, they're a group of internet conspiracists who believe the world is controlled by a shadowy cabal of democratic pedophiles. Yes, you heard that right, Democrats and pedophiles. I'm not even sure which one is worse. Anyway, TikTok recently banned all QAnon-related hashtags from their platform because they know QAnon has it all figured out, and they'll do anything to hide the truth. So do you get it now? Donald Trump isn't banning TikTok because he wants to protect your data. And he's not doing it because he's some sort of fragile man baby whose enormous ego can't handle even the slightest of criticisms. No, he's doing it because he wants to protect the world from the Illuminatis at TikTok who are trying to cover this whole thing up. Now, I know a lot of our younger viewers might not understand what I'm trying to say, so let me spell this out for them in a way that they'll understand. This conspiracy also goes straight to the top, which is why Dictator Dan is making us wear these masks. They're trying to muzzle us. It has nothing to do with this plandemic.
Sorry, we seem to have lost connection with Alex, but on the bright side, she did say plandemic. Catch you after this break. Welcome back. Earlier this year, in between self-isolating and emptying their super accounts to pay for the rent, people stopped to wonder, where in the world is Kim Jong-un? The rotund dictator failed to appear in public for almost a month. This absence was enough to fuel the rumors of the portly despot's demise on South Korean social media, which was reported as fact by some of the world's most credulous tabloids. Although the truth may never be known and he may simply be doing what every other rich, powerful person is currently doing and quarantining at one of his personal resorts. Well, the rumor mill is still running rampant as the same very reliable tabloids have once again reported that Kim Jong-un is in coma and that his sister Kim Yo-jong will take his place. So does this mean that Kim Jong-un is out of the picture, or can we not trust the word of the New York Post? Either way, our fangirl couldn't miss this opportunity to talk about the greatest hits of everyone's favorite monarchical communist.
Thanks, Tavleen. You know, I could never miss an opportunity to talk about Kim Jong-un because, oh my god, he's like the craziest dictator ever. No comparison. But, he does look good on a horse, though. Not gonna lie. Oh my god, where should I even start with North Korea? Did you know that in communist North Korea, the police routinely murder people with no provocation, and even mild forms of dissent are met with brutal suppression from police forces? Or that North Korea kidnaps people off the street around the world and takes them to black sites they maintain to be tortured? Get this! In North Korea, the indigenous population is subject to the highest rates of imprisonment in the world, especially among children, with 97% of all children imprisoned in the nation's northern province being indigenous. North Korea is also super xenophobic. Anyone who tries to enter the country in a way they don't like is imprisoned in island concentration camps where they are routinely denied medical care and live in danger, constant danger, of assault from the guards or locals. And this isn't likely to change anytime soon either. When a new opposition leader came into power in 2015, serving members of the military openly stated that they would enact a coup if he were to ever win an election. Even worse, did you know that in 2003, North Korea started a war with a country on the other side of the world without any provocation that killed over 1 million people? And during that war, they used depleted uranium weapons that continue to cause birth defects to this day? Oh, wait a second. Oh my god! Do you know what I've been doing? Oh my god. Silly me. Oh my god. These are all things that have happened. It's just that they happened in Australia and its close friend, the United Kingdom. Oh, and the United States. My bad. I couldn't tell. Back to you, Tavleen.
Thanks, Sophia. Now let's move our attention to a little bit of rock, paper, scissors and dynamite. Mining has been a fundamental cornerstone in Australia's political, economic and environmental discussions. And mega company Rio Tinto has had its fair share of scandals in the last decade. In 2009, staff members in Shanghai were accused of espionage and bribery. And in 2017, the company was fined more than 27 million pounds for fraud relating to a coal venture in Mozambique. But this time around, Rio Tinto is being accused of knowingly destroying two 46,000-year-old rock shelters of high cultural significance in Western Australia's Pilbara region. The cave sites were flagged by archaeologists in 2014 who stated the sites were filled with a rare abundance of faunal remains, flaked stone artifacts, and even preserved human hair. Rio Tinto still went ahead with the blasting despite this crucial information, which led to the company responding to its misadventure by cutting the bonuses of 3 of its executives. Ouch! However, there have been calls for harsher penalties for Rio Tinto in light of the cultural heritage of the rock shelters. Let's cross live to Suzanne from PR for an explanation of the situation. So, Suz, who specifically within the Rio Tinto has been held responsible for this?
Well, as the Board of Review found, there is no single root cause or error that caused the destruction of the rock shelters.
So, did the company get off scot-free?
No, not at all. In fact, the CEO copped quite a hefty punishment, and he's been stripped of his bonuses, which amount to almost $5 million.
Isn't his base salary alone in the millions?
Yes. So?
And didn't destroying the caves give Rio Tinto access to almost $130 million worth of iron ore?
Tavleen, I'm afraid you're missing the point. Remember that the activities that were carried out were legal, and it's only because the company has such high standards and common decency that it's calling out its own actions, and that just speaks volumes to its accountability.
And where was the so-called moral compass back in 2014 when the caves were declared of the highest archaeological significance in Australia?
You're making the assumption that within 6 years this information made it to the senior executives, when in fact they only found out about it days before the planned explosion. And by that stage it was too late to make any changes. How were they meant to know?
The review also found flaws in system and decision-making as some of the reasons that led to the company destroying the caves. Do you agree with these findings?
You say systemic flaws, I say hiccups. And as for the questionable choices, well, it's been a learning experience for everyone.
I don't think I've learned anything from this interview, but thanks anyway, Suze. Right then, we're off to another break. Welcome back again. Australia's airline industry has taken another hit of late, with Qantas announcing massive losses. But they are not the only airlines to report of financial damages due to the unprecedented regulations and restrictions during this pandemic. The preferred means of transport for millennials heading to Bali for their Eat, Pray, Love themed getaway, Tiger Air, had its operations shut down earlier this year, and other airlines have resorted to selling only business and first class tickets to offset costs. We now cross to Employed, the struggle's career advisor, for the latest on this situation.
Thanks, Tavleen. The airline and tourism industry is crumbling during this pandemic, which is expected given the circumstances. It has left every millennial crying over their me-day holidays paid for by their non-existent jobs to escape an economy which every other single generation can somehow find a job in but them. Oh no, how will millennials show their friends how #blessed, #wanderlust, or how much of a #adventure seeker they are? Oh wait, through the countless photos of sourdough, banana bread and cinnamon rolls. Qantas is planning on cutting thousands of jobs, meaning there'll be a whole lot more people looking for jobs for you millennials to complain about. The airline also recently announced a $1.6 billion loss, which wasn't helped by a $642 million cost associated with its pandemic restructuring program, otherwise known as redundancy payments. But like many other businesses, Qantas is pivoting and naturally has started selling merch. Now we all know who the target market of that brainchild is. It's the shut up and take my money generation. On the top of their merch list is their described iconic business class pajamas. Now, of course, being a my life is so hard millennial, you won't be able to fathom what these iconic pajamas look like, so let me help you out. They're a grey trackies and shirt combo with the Qantas Roo logo on the front and a giant Qantas on the back. You can also get their business amenity kits featuring Aspar skin products, Tim Tams and other good snacks. But better jump on these quick. It's probably the only time you'll be able to afford Qantas, let alone their business class. Back to you, Tavleen.
Thanks, Em. And that brings us to the end of this episode and the end of winter. While we may not be able to go out and smell the roses just yet, why not eat a box of the chocolate variety instead? Until next week, the struggle, it's real.